In the short term, when you become more insulin sensitive, you are going to improve your blood glucose control, you are going to make your blood glucose management far more predictable, and of course, you're going to get a heck of a lot more energy.
Welcome to the Mastering Diabetes audio experience, where we'll teach you how to reverse insulin resistance, achieve your ideal body weight, gain energy, and get your best A1C following almost 100 years of evidence-based research.
We're on a bold mission to reverse insulin resistance in 1 million people. We're glad to have you joining us. Welcome to the Mastering Diabetes audio experience. Thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate your interest, and I'm really looking forward to today's show. So I'm going to be talking about non-negotiables. So Cyrus and I were chatting with our Director of Lifestyle Change, Kylie Buckner, this morning, and she was telling us how during our small group coaching calls, our coaching team is oftentimes sharing the non-negotiables that Cyrus and I both personally use to maximize our insulin sensitivity. So during today's show, I'm going to share some of my personal non-negotiables that I use to maintain an A1C of 5.3%. That's my current A1C. And my time in range is consistently above 90%, all while eating well over 700 grams of carbohydrate each day and using a physiologically normal amount of insulin, roughly 30 units per day. And if you're new to Mastering Diabetes, I just want to take a moment to recap why insulin sensitivity matters. So what we do here at Mastering Diabetes is we help you truly maximize your insulin sensitivity. I feel very proud to say that I think we are the leaders in this whole field of doing everything you can at every angle, from every opportunity, to truly maximize your insulin sensitivity. Like, that's what we do, whether it's food, whether it's movement, whether it's intermittent fasting, whether it's sort of a mental shift. We just tackle it from every angle and look at the peer-reviewed evidence to help you achieve that. And the reason this matters is because in the short term, when you become more insulin sensitive, you are going to improve your blood glucose control, you are going to make your blood glucose management far more predictable, and of course, you're going to get a heck of a lot more energy. And in the long term, this is going to reduce your chronic disease risk, which means that you are less likely to develop heart disease, cancer, Alzheimer's disease, and many more conditions. So in short, you really do want to be more insulin sensitive, and you want to put insulin resistance in the past. So with that said, let's move into a few of my personal non-negotiables that I have been using for well over 13 years now. So the first one is consistently keeping my diet low in fat, okay? So that means, of course, low in animal fats, but also low in plant-based fats. So that means being cognizant of how much avocado am I consuming? How many nuts and seeds am I consuming? Because these are foods I will eat regularly, but I will eat them in appropriate quantities. Like Brazil nuts, which are high in selenium, are something I'll eat regularly. I just love those. They're a great flavor. I do love avocado, and I'm living in Florida right now. There are some fantastic Florida avocados, and when I lived in California, I'd get some epic avocados, amazing varieties, Pinkerton, Fuerte, Lamb Haas, bacon avocado. Like, I love me some avocado, okay? But you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful and cognizant of how much you're consuming. So keeping my diet low in fat and being cognizant of those yellow light foods. So even durian would be something, is a higher fat fruit. I personally don't eat much coconut meat. I don't really eat olives that often. It's just not something I like. But definitely the avocado, the nuts and seeds. So I got to be careful there and just cognizant. So using a nutrition logging software such as Chronometer, you can learn how much fat you are consuming. I cannot emphasize how important this is, how it is worth your time. It is so worth it. We hear oftentimes how our members are frustrated and sort of maybe just not enjoying the process of food logging, and we get it, okay? It is a pain in the butt, 100%, but it's worth it. And the information that you get from logging your food is information that you will learn and integrate for the rest of your life. Like you're learning lessons. Like many people, you're just not sure. You don't know how many grams of fat are in that handful of nuts, okay? How many grams of fat's in that half of an avocado? How does that affect your total percent of calories coming from fat, even when you have a small amount? And especially when it comes to including a little bit of oil or even some animal products, like you will learn so much when you take the time to log this into food logging app, okay? And so we also encourage you to use decision trees. So decision trees, that's our version of a diabetes logbook, okay? And this is going to help you truly understand how eating a low-fat diet improves your blood glucose control and how, when you don't do that, the consequences of that decision. So decision trees are a fantastic tool, and I use decision trees on a regular basis. I love to use them to check in. I use them a heck of a lot more consistently when I was first starting. And again, that's to get some baseline information, to learn. And you get to a stable point at some point, and you don't need to use them as often, but they're always helpful. And anytime I use a decision tree, I can pretty much guarantee that I'm going to see one of my better days of time in range, and it's just really, really helpful when you put in that time and that effort. So in the beginning, definitely take the time to log your food into Chronometer. Definitely use decision trees and keep your diet low in fats. That's just a complete non-negotiable for me and something I've been doing consistently. Now, the second non-negotiable here is keeping my food exclusively plant-based. I eat plants. I've been eating nothing but plants for over 13 years, and I love them. And you got to understand that every time you make a decision to eat something other than a plant, not only are you exposing yourself to the consequences of those foods, but you're also trading calories for these unhealthy ones where the package is not so helpful. You're trading that. You're consuming calories there that you're not consuming from plant-based foods. So you're sacrificing the intake of the vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, the fiber that you're going to find in plant-based foods. So for me, that's just a simple, straightforward, non-negotiable. I eat plants. That simple. Now, the third one here, very important, is whole food. I eat whole foods predominantly. The amount of minimally processed foods in my diet is very, very low. Very low. And this is huge, absolutely huge, when it comes to blood glucose control and maximizing your insulin sensitivity and reducing or eliminating the spikes that oftentimes people are concerned about when beginning to add in more whole carbohydrate-rich foods. So these are intact whole foods. When I have a breakfast, it's just going to be some cut up bananas, some cut up mangoes, and some greens. And boom, there you have it. It's just the whole food right there. All right? So very simple. And that leads me to my next non-negotiable, which is that I eat greens or non-starchy vegetables at pretty much every meal. And I thoroughly enjoy it. I love my greens. Arugula is one of my favorite foods on the entire planet. It's got a little bit of a kick. So if you're not eating arugula, or they call it rocket in Australia, if you're not eating that on a regular basis, I hope you consider adding. And if that's the one thing you do from this podcast, you start eating more arugula, I'd be very happy. I also eat a lot of spinach. I eat kale, Swiss chard. Been getting some good okra here in Florida recently, so that's been fun. So lots of bell peppers. That's lots of zucchini, summer squashes. I'm not a huge fan of cucumber, but I love zucchini. But really, it doesn't matter. It's any green or non-starchy vegetable that you enjoy and you will eat consistently. So that's a huge non-negotiable for me. And again, that's pretty much every meal. The next one here is daily movement. And this is walking at a minimum. So I get the best results when I'm doing consistent cardio in the morning. That's ideal for me. I like to get it done before the day starts and I get too many work things happening, and all of a sudden you get distracted and you have a million excuses to not get in that cardio. So for me, doing it in the morning before I get into too much stuff is really, really helpful. And also, doing consistent cardio in the morning is beneficial because if you're living with insulin-dependent diabetes and you're using fast-acting insulin, then you will not have a large amount of insulin on board. So definitely, I personally will inject a little bit, whether that's a little bit for maybe a celery juice that I'm consuming, or maybe I'm having a few dates before I do a workout. I'll have a little bit of insulin to get something on board there. It also helps address the Dawn phenomenon, but it's not a large amount, okay? And that can make exercise a heck of a lot more challenging when there is a lot of insulin on board and you are beginning to do cardio. You can just start seeing those double arrows down on your Dexcom or CGM if you wear one. You know what I'm talking about. But daily movement is an absolutely non-negotiable for me, and I love walking. I cannot tell you how much I love walking and how much we recommend it and how it makes such a big difference. Like, you will be blown away by how much of an improvement you can see in your blood glucose control, in your numbers after meals, in your fasting readings, when you begin to start walking consistently. And I basically do anything on my phone that I can do. Basically, if there's a task on my phone that I can do while walking, I will go outside and walk. Now, it's also raining a lot in Florida, so if it's raining, I'll stay inside. But sometimes I could even walk around inside, walk up and down the stairs. But it seems a little crazy, but the impact is so good. I know it might feel a little weird to just start walking around your house, but in a line, I do that a lot when I'm on the phone. But it's just really, really beneficial. And walking is a great opportunity to connect with loved ones, okay? So this goes beyond just the physical benefit. Walk with your partner, walk with your dog, or if you're walking by yourself, you can call a friend. It's just a great opportunity to connect and really take that space. So daily movement, definitely a non-negotiable. Now, I've put consistency on this list. And for me, that is something that I am committed to. This idea of, I'll go to a party and maybe I'll just eat something off the program at the party and it'll be okay, I'll get back on it later. Or, once a week I'll do X, Y, and Z. Like that, to me, that's not worth it. It's a choice that I've made. Look, we're not the food police here. You got to decide what changes are you going to make that resonate with you. How far are you going to take it? That's totally up to you. It's based on your goals and how important they are to you and what you're willing to do to achieve them. So for me, being consistent and just not making exceptions on what I do is what I consider a non-negotiable here. I will be consistent. I put myself first. I think health is such a priority that I am going to stick with it. And I'm just not going to let anybody be in charge of what I eat. Like going to parties or family gatherings, like this is my choice. It's my body and I own that. I'm proud of it. And I'm not going to let anybody else really impact that decision because I'm trying to please them or do something that makes them happy. It's not an option for me. So that's consistency, okay? Now, I also put planning on here as a non-negotiable. And when you're living with diabetes, planning is important, okay? It's whether we like it or not, whether sometimes we're like, I just want to live a chill day and just kind of like let it happen and see how it goes. That's fine. You can do that. But there's likely going to be consequences to that, and I am very happy to plan my day. So I will sometimes put in my calendar, okay, this is the time I'm eating lunch. This is the time I'm eating dinner. Like sometimes I have to block it off, or at least I put it side by side with another event if maybe I'm going to be eating while I'm doing something, which is not ideal, but that happens to be my life right now. But I know what I am going to be eating every single meal, either the day before or the morning of. It's one or the other. And I can always have contingency plans. I can adjust. Of course, you learn over the years how to do that. But in our decision tree journal, we have a section for planning where you can write down your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner, and your snacks. And that is a huge way to set yourself up for success. So I consider that, for me, that's a non-negotiable. And the last non-negotiable I want to talk about today is having fun. Enjoy the process. I love every single bite of food that I consume. And I want you to have the same experience. And I've always said, if there's any time I want to eat something different, I will. I eat what I eat because I love it, because I want to. This is not a sacrifice. We are not teaching a program here where you eat a certain food that tastes terrible, but it's good for you. I remember I believed that. That was something I definitely believed before I found out about living this lifestyle. I thought that, if it actually tastes terrible, it's probably better for you. It's probably good. It's probably really nutritious. And that just could not be further from the truth. We are definitely designed to eat foods that make us feel good. That's built into us, and we can construct our lives in a way where that's what's happening. Okay, you're eating food and you're just straight up loving it. So that's a huge non-negotiable for me. And that's it. That's what I have today. Those are the 7 non-negotiables I listed out. Actually, it's 8 because I threw in the greens. But I want to encourage you to put some of this into action and use it to maximize your insulin sensitivity. We would love to hear from you. Write to us in our free Facebook group. Write to us on Instagram. You can write to us on TikTok now. Comment on YouTube. Write on our main Facebook page. Send us an email. We want to hear from you guys. And we want you to also share this information with anybody you think that would benefit. Okay? Just give them a link. Tell them, hey, go check out the Mastering Diabetes audio experience. We're on all the platforms. That would mean a lot to us. So I hope you have found this show helpful. And I hope you start to take some of these non-negotiables that I talked about today, integrate them into your life, and achieve your best insulin sensitivity and just your best life overall. Something I talk to people a lot. I do a lot of phone calls with people who are interested in joining our program, and we're always asking, what is your why? What really matters? I mean, all these non-negotiables, these things that I'm doing, it's because I want to be as healthy as I possibly can be to carry forward this mission to help as many people in the world reverse insulin resistance. As you hear in the beginning of this show, we're on a mission to reverse insulin resistance in 1 million people. That's no small feat. So my why is to be healthy and active and have my best mental capacity to achieve this mission that we have here with Mastering Diabetes. And I really encourage you to also get in touch with your why. Think about that. And whenever you're in a challenging moment and it's time to pick yourself back up, when you're in touch with that why, it can make a dramatic change and really pull you out of some tough moments and help you make better decisions. So I really want to encourage you to do that. And that's it. So if you have any questions, again, always reach out to us. We're here. We want to help. If you want to apply for coaching, you can do that. Just go to our website, click coaching, and I hope I get to talk to you soon. Thanks for listening.